maintain 2074.
Who am I?
Comment 504, descend to maintain 3000. 3000, comment 504.
Hands for Type 724 is our traffic Nevada.
In my 20s, I dream of flying a plane. Due to having glasses, I thought it's not possible. In mid-2016, I started to have foggy vision. After I checked out, the doctor said I have cataract in both my eyes. Wow! I really never expected this. I felt like taking a trip to the moon, jumping up and down. I'm filled with excitement. But the unexpected turns out into my reality. The cold, hard truth. I need to step into divorce. My mom said her final goodbye, and my family broke apart. I stepped into a solitude journey. This is the best journey I ever experienced. It was super challenging. My achievement, the award-winning author, from housewife to pilot, the beginning.
Comment 504, descend to maintain 3000. 3000, comment 504.
I'm Keiko Lim. I'm here holding your hands, guiding you every steps to discover your potential, harness that energy, bring it to your reality, and make your dreams come true.
Comment 504, we have speed of 170 per tower space. You get following a Boeing 727, 1 o'clock, 6 miles right base, descending on at 3500.
Welcome to Tuesday with Keiko. Today, my guest speaker is Chris Mamone. Chris Mamone is an acceptance coach who helps people heal from grief, loss, and trauma to discover their self-acceptance and step into their personal power. Welcome to Tuesday with Keiko, Chris Mamone.
Hey Keiko, nice to meet you, and thanks for having me on your show today.
You're welcome. Could you share a bit of yourself with the audience? How did your journey shape you into the person you are today based on what you have been through?
I've had a complicated past, but I'll share that I have always been the kind of person that grief and loss and trauma has followed me through my life. I've always have lots of experience losing jobs, lots of experience losing people and things in my life. Where my journey really started taking shape was back in 2018 when I made a decision to move across the country and start over again after a hard chapter of life. And what I thought would be an easy solution out turned into more complex grief. And so in 2020, I flew home to see my grandfather that was battling terminal cancer at the time. And long story short, he passed away in front of me in my arms.
That's hard, huh?
Yeah, so I had my first experience with death, and that rattled my world again. I said, "Wow, okay, another hard challenge."
Yeah.
I fell back into depression, and took me months to get out of that. 2 years after that, my wife and I got pregnant with our first child after struggling with infertility for 12 years, and unfortunately, we lost him a day before he was supposed to be born. And so.
Wow.
Once again, grief and loss just kind of knocked on my door and said, you get another good experience with that. So I went through a really hard time the last couple of years since that's happened. And long story short, I was faced with a choice that I can either destroy myself over these things or I can create something from this and create meaning and purpose. And so what I chose to do is turn grief into my greatest pain or greatest personal power, if you will. It was my biggest pain, I'll share that, but it was something that I said, I can turn this into personal power. And what I teach in my coaching practice, and this is why I call myself an acceptance coach, is that in those worst moments of life and grief and loss, we ultimately discover our greatest gifts. And some of those gifts don't come in the way we want them to, but they show themselves to us. And my experiences with grief and loss have led me down the road to being an acceptance coach that helps people heal from grief, loss, and trauma.
Grief is really not easy because when in 2021, I have to say goodbye to my mom. That was hard and took me quite a long time to heal from that because I stepped into a divorce in 2020, and then 2021 my mom said her final goodbye.
Oh,
And when
wow.
I went back to Singapore and attended her funeral, my siblings cut me off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was perhaps it's like, what I can say is from all this we discovered who we are, and we are able to embrace whatever that comes to us, because grief and loss is part of life.
Yeah, it's
And yeah, we have to learn how to accept.
Yeah, part of what
Mm,
inspired me to become a coach in that area is that I know you're over in the Netherlands, so
mm,
I'm not familiar with how they deal with grief and loss over there in that culture. But here in America, grief and loss is something that is just kind of brushed off. If you work a job at a company, they'll give you 3 days. They tell you just to heal and kind of get over it and get back to work. Life goes on. And unfortunately, people don't, our brain up here with emotions and feelings doesn't work that way. We have a very
yeah,
complex way of dealing with grief. And so, as I've learned on my journey, which is why I coach people, that grief is a complex situation we deal with. And everybody's grief journey is different, by the way. We can't compare
it is.
stories or compare losses
It
because it's
is.
individual to everyone.
We are all different when it comes to emotional aspects. The heart and brain, we operate differently. Some people, they just suppress everything and they just move forward with life. But that's not the way how we solve the issue when it comes to emotional. You really need to go through that healing process.
You really do. I mean,
Yeah.
I can say, some of my family members, I'll just keep anonymous because I'm on the podcast, but
Mm.
some of them, after losing my grandfather, they just went on with life like nothing ever happened. And when you do that, you repress those emotions, but they're going to
Yeah.
come up at some point. And when I lost my child, I chose not to take that route. I sat in my pain, and it wasn't fun. It hurt a lot,
Yeah.
and
It wasn't
it
fun.
still it still hurts to this day. I say that lightly, by the way. That's just my pattern interrupt for me. But I just share that sometimes sitting in that pain and just feeling it and
Mm.
taking it for what it is can be really
Yeah.
helpful for people. It's it's scary because we're not comfortable with it. It doesn't happen that often in our life. We're comfortable working our jobs. We're comfortable coming home and eating dinner every night. We're comfortable going to the store. We do those things every day, but grief and loss come in short bursts in our life, and they happen sporadically and randomly to us. So when we experience it, it's something very, very different from what we're used to out of our normal day-to-day activities. And so that causes us, by the way, to not really have a lot of experience with it. So it's very, very new to us. And we don't know. This is why healing from your grief is so important to me, that I'm passing my message along. Feeling those emotions, being in that experience, taking it for what it is, not what you think it is, but being
Mm.
immersed in that. It's okay to do that. It's safe. It's fine. But you really should allow yourself that process and give yourself permission to feel it, because
Yeah.
if you try to suppress it and not deal with it, it will come out eventually at some point, and
Yes. And
and that's
worse
what can
is
make your
like
life hard.
it comes later in life. That'll be worse because it's like the older we get, the lonelier we will get.
Yeah,
And the
that's
more
very
you
true.
feel lonely, yeah, that is where you will find it hard to accept a lot of things. And if
Yeah,
you are able to accept the loneliness, you're able to accept yourself, loving yourself, and that is where you are okay with everywhere you go. You are able to adapt.
Yeah, you said that really well. I can't stress enough the importance of finding acceptance when you go through grief and loss. It's a very hard
Mm.
path, by the way. It's not easy. It's not going to happen in the click of
No,
a
it's not
finger.
easy.
Um, I've worked with people that can move through that process in a month. I've worked with people it takes 10 years to go through grief. And so I share that grief doesn't have a time frame on it. Grief is not linear.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
grief's like a wild ocean. Sometimes it's going to be calm and smooth seas. Other
Mm.
times it's going to be a storm, and you just have to be kind to yourself and accept the moment. Don't try to change it, but just accept it for what it is, and
Yeah,
you'll find that through that acceptance in the storms, you find out who you are, and that's the new level, the new norm you're creating for your life is found within those moments.
true. And love, sunshine, all these are the natural medicine that we need.
Exactly.
How you cope with the journey of transformation in your life?
So I used to be very change adverse in my life. Change used to really scare me, used to be just very uncomfortable. I would always have this feeling of just, "Ugh, why is this happening to me? And why can't things stay the same?" Um, I'll share after going through two heavy losses, especially losing my son. Um, I don't get shaked anymore by change. I don't
Mm.
wish anybody to experience child loss because it's a grief journey
Yeah,
I'm
that is
still
hard,
on this
man.
day that I
Yeah,
there's no getting over it or moving on from it. Unfortunately, it's with you.
true.
That I can share that it's on my transformation journey. I don't get scared of change anymore. And the other thing that it's taught me is that 90% of things we think are problems every day are not problems. They're not issues. And so we go through life fixating on certain things because we're bored and searching for something, or we're unhappy with something. So we're searching for things, and we
Mm.
find little things to complain about every day. And that's where I learned on my transformation journey through grief that most of what we think are problems are not problems. They're very small things in life. And when we learn to let those things go, we're able to focus on what really matters. And that's individual for everybody's journey, by the way, but you really discover what's important and what matters to you through that process.
True. Because like recently I lost my cat. I'm not sure how am I going to describe this. Yuki, her name. We connected in an extraordinary way. And this is the first cat that is in my life that, we connected in yeah, it's really a very special way. I perhaps it's because of our soul contract. As you know, we come to Earth. Every one of us, we have soul contracts with all these people, like our parents, our siblings, our spouse, kids. Even like if you got a pets, you have the soul contract with your pets. It's a very extraordinary soul contract with my cat. When she experienced the meltdown in the health, that impact me in a huge way. And we brought her to the vet, and the vet said she had high blood pressure. High blood pressure is really a silent killer, and we never see that coming. Because last year we brought her to the vet, and the vet told us that she got thyroid, and from thyroid leads to high blood pressure, and thyroid is
Mm.
really leads to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And from this incident that occurred, that really hit me hard. And health is so important for
I'm
me. I think because I'm blessed, there's no health issue with me, so I never experienced any major things. So I think that is a blessing. But when happened to my cat, that really gave me that huge impact.
Yeah, how I wanted to ask you because I lost a pet rabbit I had last September in
Mm.
2024, and I had him for 12 years. How long did you have your cat?
This one is about 14 years, 8 months.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought up losing a pet because a lot of people, especially people who don't have a pet, don't
they
understand how
don't
much
understand. Yeah.
we don't see them as animals, we see them as family. It's a very
Yes,
different.
that's right. And yeah, it is. Somehow this kid is so special that, we connected in a very extraordinary way. And I have no idea why is this connection extraordinary. And I guess what I can say is the soul contract between us. And yeah, it is hard that, when she said her final goodbye, it felt like everything collapsed in 1 second
It does.
and put me into the vacuum. It's like suddenly, you know, she was gone.
It's hard to deal with that
And
moment when it happens.
yeah, it was hard to deal with that moment. I mean, it's like that moment, it's like 1 second, everything collapsed into a vacuum.
Yeah,
Oh, miss her so much. I really miss her so much.
that's what people don't understand about losing a pet is, every
Yeah.
I had two more rabbits because I couldn't. I'll share that on my grief journey. When I had lost my rabbit, I fell apart. I was not in a good place for a week because the
Yeah, it's
unfortunate
hard.
side of grief is it brought up a lot of feelings of when I lost my son. It brought up a
Yeah.
lot of feelings when I lost my grandfather. It really it was a big throwback in grief. And I share
Yeah.
that to say that when you experience grief, it doesn't leave you. It never will. And so um, I caught myself going down that hole and I said, I got to go get a couple more rabbits, and not because I'm trying to fill a void or trying to fix a problem, but it's the fact that I don't want to. For me, it was a coping mechanism. For me, it was that I
Mm.
don't want to be in a house anymore that's empty because I
Yes,
had a
it is.
small friend that I'm sure your cat was like this too, by the way. That when I woke up in the morning, he'd come racing to my side of the bed asking for a treat, and he would
Yeah.
play with me on the
Yes.
floor. And he'd hang out and sleep under my desk while I'm working, and at night we'd play around. And
It
so
is.
these pets are a big part of our routine in our life. And when they disappear, when they pass on to the next life, we have a void now because we're used to
Yeah.
them in our life. And so now
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
is.
oh, now what do I do? Like my life changed. Like,
It is.
it puts you in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt very much like the reset button is pressed.
Yeah. That's a good way to say
And
that.
yeah, and it's like the routines suddenly change.
Yep.
And right where I'm about to launch my course, that is
Oh,
really a big hit. And so now I have to, adjust and navigate and trying to get back to my routine and start attending events, all that. And slowly I'm, getting back to normal routine. And yeah, it is. I miss her so much.
yeah. It's those little creatures really throw us for a wrench when they have to pass away.
Yeah,
So
it is. It's like a huge. It is really like a huge thing. That happened. It's such a huge impact. How you step into a breakthrough.
oh, how do I step into a breakthrough? For me in my journey, most of the time those breakthroughs have been in the worst moments of my life. And
Mm.
thankfully I've done coaching since 2017, so I know when to spot them pretty easy. But for those of you, by the way, that don't have coaching experience or have had a coach before, and you're just curious, what's this term breakthrough that everybody uses? Because I hear that term flipped around a lot. A breakthrough, I assimilate it down to an epiphany you have. It's kind of like a moment that will stop you in your tracks. It's something that you'll be kind of just going along the motions. All of a sudden you go, ooh, like what's that? It's like a light bulb goes off.
Yes.
Um, that's what I'll say a breakthrough is. And I had a breakthrough after I lost my son, a big one. And I left the
Mm.
hospital without him, and I was very, very angry driving home. I didn't feel good at all, naturally. But I got to a certain place after leaving the hospital. Then my brain got really, really clear for some reason. I don't know how. I went from angry to clear in about zero point 0.2 of a second. Um, and what I learned in that moment, my breakthrough that happened was this is a pivotal moment of your life right now. As much as you're
Mm.
hurting right now and you're grieving and you're lost, you're confused, you're scared, you're sad, you're frustrated, you're all those things. Right now, you're at a pivot point in life and you have a decision to make, a big one. And I felt that overcome me when my head got clear. And when my son passed, I was faced with the choice of, are you going to continue to allow and tolerate things in your life that are no longer
Mm.
working for you? Are you going to allow those things to happen? Are you going to allow people in your life that no longer support you? Are you going to allow people that make your life harder? Are you going to do a different career path? Are you going to make changes for yourself to make yourself happy? Um, I was faced with a lot of those things right in that moment, right in the middle of pain and suffering, right in the middle of those things. Um, and so I'd encourage anybody listening to this podcast, if you want to know when a breakthrough happens, if you're going through pain and suffering right now, or you're going through loss, you're in an
Mm.
opportunity place. As much as it hurts, and it does, you have an opportunity. And I always share that because that opportunity is what choice and decision are you going to make? And I will tell you this right now, a breakthrough is never easy. It never will be. It'll be the
No, it's never.
hardest thing you ever do.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's like once you lost something, you see things in a different perspective.
yeah, I tell people it's oftentimes like a car crash. It's so bad you want to look away, but you can't. So you're staring at it a lot and you're trying to understand what's going on. You're
Mm.
processing a lot of thoughts. You're kind of in this like, I'm not sure what this is, but I kind of feel this thing over here. You've got a lot of stuff going on upstairs.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, I
why I
think
tell
that, that
people
that is a great
give
example. I mean, when you mention about like a car crash, that is really a great example because it's like when a car crash moment, no, you won't want to take a look in at the car at all. That is what happened when we are being crushed. We are having that kind of moment where a reset button is being pressed, and you really have to come face to face with that fear, whether is it the fear in you, whether is it the hate in you, where are you going to how are you going to process that?
Yeah, the other thing too I can share is that we have these old things called slingshots in America.
Mm,
You can just ricochet rocks and stuff.
mm,
Um, I use them to equate life all the time. Grief and loss is just pulling this thing back, right? What we don't ever focus on, by the way, we're just focused on pulling it back as much as we can. But what we never look at is what's happening on this side of the fence when that thing lets go and it shoots.
mm,
Uh, when you go through grief and loss, by the way, your slingshot got pulled back, and it got pulled back really hard.
mm.
But when that BB or pellet or whatever goes flying forward, it's going to start breaking things, right? It's going to start crushing, wrecking ball, just killing things in life. And just know that destruction, by the way, it's clearing out all the things that are no longer serving you and not working for you. That's what it's doing. And on top of that, it's making room for you, by the way, for those new things that are supposed to come for you. And
Yeah.
so we have to let go in life. We have to, I don't like moving on or getting over it because I just don't think those exist. But there's a moving forward with a new normal. That's what I call it, is moving forward with a new normal. You said you lost your mom, and that was really
Mm,
hard. And I can't imagine that. I haven't lost a parent yet. But I'll say that um, that was a turning point for you. I could tell when you talked about it. You said, my life's
yeah.
different now. And what's
Yes.
I don't know what this is going to be because mom's gone now. So how's that going to impact me? What changes am I going to make? Maybe, my priorities of life shift, and maybe this thing over here that I thought wasn't important is important. Um,
Yeah.
it gives us those opportunities.
I think the important thing is like, our basic needs and what you love and how you want to be a creator on this earth. Because we are here to create.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Like I said, these moments of life, you can destroy your life. You can certainly take it down those roads if you want. But grief really is a step forward to creating something new. And
Mm.
it's a transformational journey to the next level of who you are. And I can tell you, you'll be stronger for it. You'll be a better person because of it.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to help other people. I can tell you in the moments of that, like when you lost your mom and I lost my grandfather, lost my son, you won't
Mm.
see that because it hurts really, really bad. It hurts. And it's hard to
True.
see those things.
True.
But one day you'll see it and you'll sit there and go, I love them. I miss them. I'm sad and I'm upset they're not here on my journey at this point, but they gave me
Mm.
something in that moment. And so
Yes.
now I can go do something with that. So it's always an
Yeah.
opportunity.
It's so true. Because my mom, she's a natural born leader, and she never stepped out to be, to be a leader or to be in business. And because I guess it's like that fear of failure is in every one of us. And that is the reason why, she never stepped out to be in business. If she stepped into business, she probably be successful. But it's just that I'm not sure whether to say, is it the timing that, she's alive, that timing is not right, or whether is it that, because basically all of us, we have that kind of negative mindset that we are not good enough. I think most of
Uh,
us, we have that.
we
And
do. Yeah.
yeah, and it is how you see things, how you shift your mindset, and how you move forward. Basically, it's like take one step at a time. That's why I love that Atomic Habits by James Clear.
That's a great book.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And it's like you just shift 1 degree a day, and by end of the year, you shift probably something like a 30 to 40 degree.
Yep. That's that's what I try to tell people on their grief journey. Grief is not about getting over it the next day and moving on with life. That's
Yeah,
you're missing everything. But if take grief journey the way it's supposed to be for you, focus on 1% a day. That's all, just 1%.
mm,
Don't
that's
try to
right.
conquer the world.
You
Conquer the day
just
to day.
yeah, do one thing at a time. Because
Yeah,
when I lost my mom, and my family broke apart, I just felt like the whole jigsaw puzzle fell onto the ground, and I have to
that's a
pick
good
up piece by
analogy.
piece and fix up the image once again.
Yeah, that's a good analogy about dropping a puzzle on the floor. I like that.
Yeah, and
So
really have to spend time and don't think so far ahead. Just put one piece by one piece. Don't
yeah,
think, how long you need to take. Don't think about that. Just put one piece by one piece.
that's the way to do it.
Yes, that's right. And how you gain clarity of what you love doing.
I got clarity for what I'm doing because came happen out of when I lost my son. This is what happened. I got really clear about my focus and what I wanted to do and what I was passionate about. And I've always coached people ever since my first job out of college. I've always coached people through major life transitions, financial problems, divorces, breakups,
Mm,
deaths in the family. I've dealt with a lot of heavy stuff. And, it's things that back then I always said, why are people telling me this stuff? I don't want to know this stuff. But I was always helping people. And
Mm,
everybody always said, thanks for listening to me, or thanks for that idea, or I appreciate that perspective. And I never knew back then what I was really doing. I just kind of was doing it to do it. And now,
mm,
after going through my losses of things, I said, I have a purpose. I have a mission here. And
yeah.
I have a gift. I always say that grief is something that gives you gifts, lessons, and blessings. Um, the lessons is just it's things you needed to learn. That's the best way I can put it. It's not fun, by the way, but you needed to learn
No,
it.
it's not fun.
Um,
Yeah.
the gifts, by the way, those are things that show you exactly who you are, who you need to be. Maybe you ignored them over the years and didn't listen to it, but now you did because grief happened. Um,
Mm,
the other thing too, blessing wise, blessings happen. That can be, um,
yes.
when you go through grief, you might lose your job you've had. Well, you weren't very happy with that job and it didn't bring you any source of joy, and it's gone now. That's a blessing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good
Yes,
thing. Um,
that's right. Yeah.
I had half my family alienate me when I lost my grandfather. I don't know why. They took out their problems on me that certain family members did. And I said, hey, that's okay. You go do
Mm,
you, I'm gonna go do me. Um,
yeah.
and that's unfortunate, by the way, because those were people I had in my life growing up, and
Yeah.
they treated me very poorly, and they chose to take out their anger and their frustration, their loss on me. And that was something I learned on my own healing journey. As I said, I'm no longer a punching bag for people. I'm not.
Mm,
That's if you're, and by the way, anger is a big part of grief, but I'll share what they didn't see and what a lot of people don't see. Anger
mm,
is the part that loves you the most. I'll say it twice because I want people to hear this. Anger is the part of you that loves you the most. It's trying to tell you that you're not seen, you're not heard, you're not understood. There's something
mm,
missing that you're not getting. There's a need of yours not being met. That's what anger is trying to tell you. And so I would encourage people when you feel angry, by the way, don't get caught up in it and don't listen to people say, stop being angry or anger is a problem. Don't listen to that stuff. Anger is a message from your body trying to communicate with you. And if you can get down to that place of saying, what am I missing right now? What do I need to hear right now? Am I being misunderstood? What's causing me to feel this way? When you can get down there when you're in the anger state, I'll tell you right now, anger will just go away. It'll be gone. But what will be there, by
mm,
the way, is what you need. And so you can get to know yourself very, very well, and you don't have to seek it from other people. You can find everything within. And that's where you can. I remember you said it at the beginning of this podcast, and I thought it was really beautiful when you said that your family, left you after your mom died, and you've had to learn how to live with isolation, being alone. Um,
yeah.
that, no offense, don't be scared of that, people. Being alone's a
Mm.
good thing. You get to know
Yeah,
yourself. You
it's a
get to,
blessing. Yeah, it is a blessing because when I step into sign up Impact Theory University, Tom B. you did mention about this how you feel when you're all alone by yourself in the darkness in your room. If you're comfortable with that, you're okay with everything. If you're not comfortable with that, you are not okay with everything.
true statement.
Yeah. And what is the takeaway for our viewers?
uh, my takeaway that I want to share with you guys that are going through grief, loss, and trauma, um, please take time to be kind to yourself. Don't push yourself. Be very, very kind to yourself. You're going to feel perfectly fine one day, and you're going to be very angry or very emotional the next day. And that's just the way grief works. It's a big, big up and downs when you go through that. And you're going to have random times that you'll feel angry or sad or hurt or frustrated or lost and confused and uncertain. You're going to feel this array of emotions. Be kind to yourself. And my big takeaway I would share is journal those things down, write those things down. It's part of who you are.
Hmm.
And just know that there's no getting over it. There's no moving on. There's moving forward with it. And so I would encourage you guys to today, if you're going through this, I'll ask you this question. How are you going to move forward with your grief? What does this process mean to you? Is there a purpose, a gift, a lesson, or a blessing that you can take away from this experience that will allow you to contribute positively in your life, as well as helping others that are going through it as well? There's always something we can take away from these painful moments of ourselves. But I can share that grief is a transformational process of self-discovery and creating the new you and finding the new norm in your life. So if I could share that breakaway with you guys, definitely reflect on that, because you will find some solace in your grief. And you also, by the way, you'll discover your secrets and your gifts that are the biggest blessings for you.
It
So
is. It's so true. Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add or any message you want to leave our audience with?
if there's any message I could leave for the audience today, is live your life on your terms, on your journey, and on your path. Don't let anybody try to tell you which way to go. Your life is identical to you. It's not identical to everybody else. And when you can find your alignment for where you're supposed to be and lean into your passions, your gifts, you'll have a beautiful life, and it will be better than you ever could imagine. So if you guys are interested, by the way, in connecting with me or learning more about my journey, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. I love connecting with everyone. And you guys can also reach out to me on my website, www.acceptancecoach.com.
That's a great message, and we appreciate your time and expertise. And it's really fantastic. And we will be sure to include those links in the YouTube description box. And thank you once again for being with us today. It's been a pleasure. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this interview, please subscribe and leave us a review or share it with others who might find it interesting. Until next time, goodbye.